Well, my main goal when it comes to learning an instrument is freedom. I want the freedom to play whatever comes to mind instantly.
Hello, my name is Bele Maluenda, and welcome to the Indie Seat. All right, Matthew Sonata, thank you so much for joining us here in the Indie Seat.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You are a killer multi-instrumentalist.
Well, some would say.
Yeah, you could say it. You could say it.
There are a few instruments I haven't had yet the pleasure of touching yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, with the ones that you have had the pleasure of playing with, which would you feel you can express yourself with most fluidly?
I would say the piano. Yeah, I've been playing it since I was 4, self-taught, till 16. That's when I started going to the Miami Lighthouse for the Blind and getting lessons there.
Mm-hmm.
But
why the piano?
Originally, the first instrument I was given from my dad was a guitar, but the difference was in the rock music videos back then, when they destroyed their instrument, they came back.
Mm-hmm.
So mine didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad wanted to give me something a little more robust.
Well, how would you describe your creative process with your different instruments?
Well, my main goal when it comes to learning an instrument is freedom. I want the freedom to play whatever comes to mind instantly. So to make something that takes a lot of effort, effortless.
Well, you've released a new single recently, Undead Lullaby.
Yes.
How did you get the inspiration for that? Because I feel like it sounds pretty different from other things that I've heard you do.
I love Halloween, big Halloween fan. And one of my long-term goals is to become a film scorer. So in this case, I really wanted to write my own Halloween short horror story.
You're a Tim Burton fan?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, you have to be.
And then I also had the artwork done in more of a My Chem fashion by a friend of mine, Malcolm. He's really great at drawing. I guess the premise of the story would be the couple, she kills him and gets away with it. So because of the injustice, he can't rest. And he comes back to haunt her with an undead lullaby.
You mentioned you like to express yourself as quickly and as fluidly as possible through your instruments. But what would you say is your personal philosophy when it comes to creating? There
is no wrong answer. When you have to read somebody else's notation or follow their track and you mess up, you're automatically wrong. I always had an issue with that. So when you create, you're in a completely different role. You're in the driver's seat. So it's not even just a destination, it's a journey.
Do you find it difficult to stay playful with it?
Oh, that's why I started switching instruments.
Oh, okay.
Different instruments, different textures, different tones, different colors.
So you feel more freedom with the variety of instruments that you play than anything?
Yeah, just like emotions.
You play with a variety of different genres as well. Which one would you say was your gateway drug into music?
Oh, R&B.
Really?
90s R&B. John B, Babyface, Boyz II Men. Like, growing up, I wanted to join them so bad. And everybody wanted to rap. I was the only one who wanted to sing growing up. I think my voice is one of my instruments.
Okay. A lot of artists have raised their voices with everything that's going on right now. There's a lot of social movements and social unrest. Do you think that artists have a responsibility to act as role models for people or not?
I believe they do. It's definitely a responsibility.
Yeah?
If anything, it should be a prerequisite for becoming an artist.
A prerequisite. And how do you think you handle that responsibility in your day-to-day?
Well, I can only do what I can, but I'm always aware of my surroundings. And the thing is, as an artist, when you put out music, everything's a message. And you have people following you and watching you. And when you start to grow and you build that fan base, you have more people that trust and confide in you, whether you know them or not. So I believe it's up to us to be responsible in what we put out and how we carry ourselves.
Is there anything that you're particularly passionate about in terms of what's going on right now?
I feel that people need good music more than ever. Not just something to entertain them, but something that educates, something that can touch them. and leave them with a more sense of self. It's like when I first started playing piano, I wasn't a big talker, so I felt my most comfortable, safe place was my piano. That's where I did all my talking. So I could sit at a keyboard and have questions, and by the time I was done playing, I had answers. It's all communication. You talk to the instruments, and if you know how to listen, they'll talk back.
Do you think, as much as your instruments act as a voice for you, music gives voice to other people as well?
Yes, I do. I try to take my time and nurture what I put out very carefully, because what you put out is what they're going to receive, and what they receive is what's going to be nurturing them.
Do you feel like with the variety of sounds that you play with, that it's given you a sharper critical ear for when you listen to other people's music?
I think my ears are pretty in tune and more sensitive than most, because I'm legally blind, so when I hear things, it's a little more intense. Listening to music growing up and listening to my dad play with his bands whenever he had gigs.
What was your dad's music like?
Calypso and soca reggae.
Wow, okay.
I don't know, it was just something I soaked up as a sponge unintentionally. I didn't realize it. I was just, home running around like yay high, and my dad's in the back just strumming it out with a bunch of musicians and like for hours.
So you would like to tour more, travel more with your music?
Oh yeah, I want to travel the world multiple times.
Yeah?
For music, just sharing mine, learning different cultures, learning different musics, different sounds, and adding it to my pod.
What's your favorite place you've been to so far?
I like New York. New York is nice.
What would be your ideal international destination?
Probably Japan. I selfishly want to battle their piano players.
Yeah.
I feel like I would get a lot out of that.
What stage would you love to grace in the U.S. at some point in your life?
That I haven't thought about. I've just thought about getting to as many as possible.
You mentioned that last week you mentioned that there were a few songs that you had started to write randomly while you were doing recording sessions for other things. Do you find that it's interesting that some big bursts of creativity come when you're supposed to be doing something else?
I think it's great.
Yeah?
It's like you're painting this one picture, and then you get this giant splash of a different filter of it at a different angle.
What do you do when you have a creative block? Do you have like a method to get you out of the rut?
Go outside. I feel like I get a lot of inspiration the farther away from home I am. I feel like even when I play instruments, I'm traveling. I'm not really playing an instrument. I'm painting, or I'm feeling out a different texture, or I'm traveling. So
you travel through the sound.
My sound, my dreams, go to places that you've never been, surrounded by people you've never met, and it just becomes a really beautiful thing.
Would you say you've had a period in your life where you felt more, I would say creatively effusive, or more that you've created more than any other period in your life?
When I was a kid.
Really?
My dad noticed that I was getting more into music, and he was like, you have to write 24 songs. And I'm like, why 24? Because you need to write an album. I got to it from middle school through high school. I'm just writing songs.
And how long did it take you to hit the 24?
It took a while. I mean, by that time I was in high school, because I started in middle school. And I still have those old composition books. But then I still feel like my writing's gotten a lot better since back then. I have yet to look at them, because I feel like when you write something, that power stays with you and it just grows. Versus when you read sheet music or regular music, and by the end of the last note, you have to give that power back.
Do you think it's difficult to put things together into solid songs since you have so much material to work off of?
Well, I mean, it depends, because the times have changed, so the delivery for how you write a song also changes with it. So it's just an adjustment.
What do you think is most difficult to adjust to when you're trying to put something together into a final piece?
Summarizing what you're really trying to say. Sometimes you can go on a tangent, and then sometimes it can get in the way, but it's always good to stay focused.
Is improvisation one of the biggest parts of your composition process?
I would say improvisation is half the fun. So I'm not trying to focus on the song. If anything, I'm just trying to take off with what emotions the song gives me. My name is Matthew Sonata. First release single, Undead Lullaby. You can catch it on all social medias and all musical networks. Spotify. My Instagram is Sonata9000, where you can follow me and get a more close, in-depth look of what I have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the Indie Seat. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
I wanted to give a shout out to our producers, Context of a Generation. My name is Bele Maluenda. You can find me at Belumalu Arts, that's BELUMALU, on Instagram and Facebook, and at belumalu.com. Tune in next time for the Indie Seat.
So that was the Indie Seat. If you like what you saw and you want to be a partner, or if you want to collaborate with us, even if you're an artist and you want to submit your work, check out our website, contextofageneration.org, or go ahead and submit an email to us at submit@contextofageneration.org. And for all the artists, make sure you put your name, your social media handles, and attach some of your work as well. And for those who are interested in being a partner or collaborating, please email us and we would love to reach back out. Peace. That was the Indie Seat. Thank you.